Good morning. Good morning. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
On the way. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
President Joe Biden suspends his 2024 re-election bid. Now a wave of Democrats are endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris to be at the top of the ticket. We have the latest this Monday morning.
Plus, a closer look at what Vice President Harris has done up until now and what's next for her as more Democrats move to support her.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WTBM News Leader 9 Morning. Sponsored by Montlick Injury Attorneys.
Good morning and welcome to News Leader 9 on this Monday morning. I'm Cheryl Renee.
And I'm Ben Stanfield. Great to see you, friends, along with Storm Team 9 meteorologist Tyler Allender. Of course, I was off Friday. Did I miss anything eventful over the weekend?
Yeah, just like our systems were down.
Right.
Nothing was working.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a lot.
Let me tell you, I slept in Friday morning. I saw the emails that were going through about what all was going on. So I was like, let me pull up the show and just see how it looked.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you guys did. I thought you guys did a great job.
Yeah, we did a good job with
Yeah.
what we were dealing with. So,
Yeah, so that was that was the second most historic thing that happened over the weekend, right?
yeah, the other thing has to do with the president, and
Yeah.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But let's go to Tyler with the weather.
Yeah, that's right. And I hope you guys had a good weekend. We had some rain around at times as expected, and temperatures now in the low 70s. Kind of feels a little rain cooled out there, but we have the humidity still in place, and we can see the showers that are stretching across Kentucky, the Carolinas, and Virginia. But we're starting to dry things out as we are in our area. But we still have some fog this morning, so similar to yesterday morning, there could be some areas of fog, and I think then we're going to have another round of scattered showers and storms this afternoon. So today, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Pretty similar day to yesterday as far as sky conditions are concerned, temperatures are concerned. Some of us getting the showers and thunderstorms again, although maybe the coverage might not be quite as high as it was on Sunday. We'll see that southwesterly wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So yes, it's going to be warm and summery today, but how do the rain chances look for the rest of the work week? We're going to have those details for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Tyler. President Joe Biden has taken himself out of the race for the White House. The president made the announcement Sunday afternoon that he will no longer seek re-election.
He delivered the news in a letter posted on his X social media account. In his second post, he endorsed his Vice President Kamala Harris to be the Democrat national nominee. And ABC's M. Wen has the latest for us this morning.
In an unprecedented and historic move, President Biden drops out of the 2024 race for the White House. It comes after his highly criticized debate 3 weeks ago, which sparked relentless pressure from his own Democratic Party to abandon his re-election bid. In a letter addressed to my fellow Americans, the president writing, "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term."
This was a very difficult decision, and one that I think reflects the very best of who Joe Biden is.
President Biden throwing his support behind Vice President Kamala Harris, who had taken the lead on fighting for women's reproductive rights.
Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it?
Harris saying, "I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination." We're told she spent much of Sunday calling party leaders and others shoring up support. Leading Democrats, including California Governor Gavin Newsom, red state moderates like Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, and prominent progressives in Congress like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, all backing Harris.
Kamala Harris, as our Democratic presidential nominee, is going to bring an X factor.
Tens of thousands of other African-American women, from business to politics to Hollywood, joined a Zoom call, raising over $1 million in just 3 hours in support of the first Black and Indian American woman sitting vice president, who is now running to succeed President Biden. Former President Trump attacking Biden's legacy, saying he was not fit to run for president and never was, while also quickly shifting his attacks to Harris.
Sources say the DNC Rules Committee is meeting Wednesday to quickly implement a framework to select a new nominee. President Biden says he'll address the nation this week to further explain his decision. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
And as we continue to follow the news of President Joe Biden's decision, News Leader 9's Gabriella Johnson has the latest reaction from Georgia state and federal leaders on what's next for the 2024 election.
Biden has done a tremendous job. He is probably the most productive president we have had since LBJ.
He has done a phenomenal job, and he will go down as one of the greatest presidents we've had.
After weeks of pressure, President Joe Biden drops out of the 2024 presidential election. We spoke to 2 Georgia officials who say they stand in agreement with his decision.
He is making decisions that he believes are in the best interest of the American people, our country, our national security, and humankind.
It was his decision, and I respect his decision. And a lot of America, we got to accept his decision.
Both State Representative Teddy Reese and U.S. Congressman Sanford Bishop say endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris.
At this point in time, she is fully capable of stepping in and being president of the United States. Absolutely, and I think that we have great respect for the job that President Biden has done.
So we are glad to get behind Vice President Harris, soon to be President Harris, with President Biden. We have followed him these 4 years. He's done great work. There's no reason not to listen to him now. It was hard for me. I was ready to fight for Joe Biden to the end for this election, and I knew we were going to be successful because the alternative is very clear. Whether we wanted a president who had done so many great things for America, did we want a president who's been convicted of 34 felonies?
Despite the calls from within the Democratic Party, Reese and Bishop say the support is strong.
You have 25 people that have spoken out about President Biden stepping down. You've got 217 Democrats. So, you use the math.
Always going to have different opinions within the Democratic Party. But one thing we're so proud of with our party is that we bring together so many different people. We are the party of diversity. We are the party of unity. And one thing we've done is we have trusted our leaders, and when our leaders make a decision, we follow them.
And that was Gabriella Johnson reporting. Biden says he will finish his term, which ends in January.
We're expecting to hear from Vice President Harris today at a previously scheduled White House event. And ABC's Allison Cossack looks at Harris's role in the Biden administration and what comes next for her.
After serving as California's first female attorney general and making headlines for enacting criminal justice reform, Kamala Harris went onto the Senate. But it was this moment in 2019, taking on Joe Biden at the presidential debate, when Harris stepped into the national spotlight.
There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools, and she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Years after that moment blasting Biden for opposing federally ordered busing in the 1970s, Biden is now looking to pass the torch to Harris, endorsing her to become the party's nominee.
This moment is sort of built for someone like her, running against a convicted criminal, a former prosecutor.
Supporters pointing to this moment at the 2020 vice presidential debate.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
But to become the presidential nominee in 2024, Harris needs to win over delegates for next month's convention.
Democratic delegates to the Democratic convention, they are the decision maker. All of them are now free under Democratic Party rules to vote their conscience.
She's been hitting the campaign trail hard. She's been raising money. I'm confident that she will have the delegates, she will have the resources.
Harris has been a vocal defender of abortion rights. On Israel, she's called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, saying too many innocent Palestinians have been killed, which could help her fare better among Arab American voters than President Biden. But Harris has faced sharp criticism for her role in handling the border crisis. She took heat even from members of her own party when she said this during talks in Guatemala.
To folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border, do not come. Do not come.
As for her push to win over delegates and avoid an open convention, a DNC roll call is expected early next month. The DNC Rules Committee says it will meet this Wednesday to discuss next steps in selecting a new nominee. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris for president. In a joint statement, the Clintons praised Biden for his political accomplishments and for, quote, standing up for America time and again. And they go on to say they are honored to endorse Harris and they will, quote, fight with everything we've got to elect her. America's future depends on it, end quote. Other Democratic lawmakers who have since endorsed Harris include Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, and Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal.
Both of Georgia's senators are now part of the long list of Democrats endorsing Kamala Harris. Democrat Senator John Ossoff thanked the president, saying his, quote, record and decades of service to the country are extraordinary and historic. Ossoff followed that statement by endorsing Vice President Harris, saying she's absolutely the right candidate to defeat Donald Trump and unite the country. Senator Warnock also commended President Biden for dropping out, saying, quote, I have been proud to work alongside him and our very able Vice President Kamala Harris, and I am proud to endorse her candidacy to be the next president of the United States.
Randy Kelly, chair of the Alabama Democratic Party, believes the vice president will meet the moment and is ready to be commander-in-chief.
I was one of her guests for Christmas, and in her home, there's pictures all around the wall of heads of state that she's met with. So she's not just prepared on a national level, she's prepared on an international level.
And we'll have much more on this coming up in the next half hour.
Including that event from Friday, that major IT outage last week, still impacting airports and more delays are expected. We got the latest on that coming up after the break.
And as we take a live look at our John Foy Alert Center, Skycam Manchester Expressway has some fog in some areas this morning, so just make sure you slow down. Plus, some of the streets are still wet as well. We're going to take a look at the work week forecast when we return.
Now from your Storm Team 9 Alert Center, WTVM meteorologist Tyler Allender.
Over the last several days, we've had some much needed rainfall across the valley, and I think yesterday we saw some of the heaviest rain, and that occurred basically across northern Russell County, parts of eastern and southern Lee County, back into northwestern Harris, southeastern Chambers, southern Troup, and Meriwether County. That was kind of the heaviest rainfall that occurred yesterday. In fact, rainfall amounts were somewhere around 2 to 5 inches of rainfall in those areas that I mentioned, and many other areas saw a lot less. Most of us saw at least something yesterday. If not yesterday, you got it over Saturday. Take a look at the visibility across the region this morning. We're looking at a half-a-mile visibility in Auburn, so there is some fog as you go out and about this morning as a result of all that rain that was nearby yesterday. Take a look at our temperatures now, the upper 60s and lower 70s. So again, a little bit rain cooled out there, but we're going to gradually warm up today. Most of us are probably going to stay in the 80s again today, but we're going to get in the upper 80s into the lower 90s for much of the next several days. We look at the clouds that are still streaming across the region. I think we'll have a mostly cloudy sky for much of the day today. For now, it's fairly dry, but don't be surprised if we see a few showers a little bit later on, but especially this afternoon when again the rain coverage goes up. We're going to have about 40 to 50% rain coverage today, so just a few showers between now and say noontime, and then this afternoon maybe around 2 or 3 o'clock the showers and storms start bubbling up, and again we're going to see I think several scattered storms for a few hours. Tomorrow maybe a little bit quieter overall, but there could be a passing shower or storm even in the morning. And look at the afternoon. Maybe some showers and storms again dotting the landscape. And then Wednesday and Thursday actually see another surge in moisture, believe it or not. So we're not done with these healthy rain chances just yet. In fact, it stays a little bit unsettled through most of the work week. But there are some signs as we head toward the weekend, which you see here in the 9-day forecast. We begin to see less in the way of rain coverage. That rain coverage right now for Saturday and Sunday at 30%, and early next week around 20%. So 4 or 5 more days of decent rain chances are ahead. Cheryl.
Thank you so much, Tyler. In East Alabama, a Lee County man is recovering after being struck by lightning over the weekend. According to Lee County Sheriff Jay Jones, the 67-year-old man was struck at the flea market off Lee Road 379 in Smith Station around 1 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. He was then transported to Piedmont Columbus Regional Hospital. No further information has been released.
More than 1,000 flights in and out of the U.S. were canceled on Sunday as airlines continue to struggle with software problems. That's according to the flight tracking website FlightAware. On Friday, airlines and other industries like the news business suffered from a worldwide IT outage that had a lingering software effect. About half of Sunday's flight cancellations were Delta Airlines flights. And on Saturday, more than 2,100 U.S. flights were canceled. 1,200 of those flights were Delta flights.
It is 18 after the hour. Their high school prom may have been decades ago, but on Friday, some seniors turned back the clock and danced the day away. That story is coming up after the break. Many people fondly remember their high school proms, and while we often associate this special event with young people, a group of seniors in Chicago has proven getting dressed up for a prom never gets old.
Noel Brennan attended one such event on Friday and spoke to some of the participants.
Feeling good about how you look.
It feels real good.
Never gets old.
The good part about it is that you're happy.
95-year-old Dolores Williams feels 16 all over again.
Well, you look gorgeous. This would be a lot of fun. Thank you. I'm very
She's reflecting on her high school prom experience.
I remember I got a good kiss.
Because today, she gets to relive it.
Oh, I'm getting ready for the prom.
It's senior prom day at Roseland Place, a senior living facility on the south side.
Prom to me is a lifetime memory, something they remember for a lifetime.
Nancy Edwards has been planning for months as resident services coordinator, soliciting help from the community and nonprofits to throw a party for about 100 low-income seniors.
Everybody was just volunteering. You know, it's like so far, whatever I needed, it came through.
Do you have a date?
You want to be it?
Dolores' first prom. Sounds like it was hard to beat. But this time, nearly 80 years later, she's royalty.
Who would want to be a queen?
She looked very pretty. She looked very stunning. She looked like an actual queen.
There's no cost for hair or makeup for the prom queen or anyone else. Even dresses and suits were donated to make everyone feel like a royal.
The king of the prom today.
A prom day every senior deserves.
They look fantastic.
I know, her hair. Like,
oh my gosh.
We saw it come together, the whole story. Great work by the reporter there, too. And she looked fantastic.
And she had a little sense of humor. He was like, you have a date? She was like, you want to be it?
Yeah.
That was great.
She had a lot of sense of humor, yeah.
I bet she's a little pistol for sure.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the dog walking forecast this morning. We have a Sadie Mae right here, pretty dog, and Lauren Sykes sitting in that picture. So we appreciate that. Nice green grass, probably even greener now with the rain that we had over the weekend and more scattered showers and storms coming our way today, especially during the afternoon and evening hours. And still, this week is not the best. For some of you, it's the last week of summer, and we're going to be seeing the chances of showers and storms pretty much each day. However, that rain coverage likely to be lower by the end of the week and especially the weekend. So hopefully we won't have to dodge as many storms, but we might have to dodge more storms Wednesday and Thursday of this week compared to the other days. So have the umbrella handy, have the rain gear handy, but we definitely, you can almost hear the grass growing out there with all the rain that we've had kind of in the recent afternoons.
We've had a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to admit, our grass does look good.
Yeah,
it really does.
Give the sprinkler a break.
I was trying to mow mine yesterday, and then the old app pops off again.
Lightning
detected in your area. So I started listening to it.
Got to go inside.
Yeah, because a couple of weeks ago, like I said, I listened to it very attentively and went inside, and then boom, like all over the place, right outside my house. So, yeah. Pay attention.
And unfortunately, we had someone struck by lightning.
Right.
You know,
it is
in
true.
Lee
Yeah.
County.
Yeah, that's
it does happen.
We'll have more on that coming up this morning as well. And headlines right after this. Stay with us, friends.